This is Narrate Now, and today we dive into the story of the internet's favorite Sigma businessman, a man who looks perfect on the surface, but behind the flawless skincare routine and $1,000 suits lives something hollow and terrifying. The film opens inside an absurdly luxurious restaurant where the rich gather to eat microscopic portions of food that cost more than a normal person's monthly rent. A group of Wall Street elites sit around complaining about the place while pretending to be sophisticated, and among them is Patrick Bateman, who blends in perfectly with his identical friends. All of them obsessed with status reservations and who has the better table across the room. Sits Paul Allen, a name that instantly creates tension, because even in a room full of clones, he stands out as someone more successful. The bill arrives. It is ridiculous. They casually drop their metal credit cards like weapons of wealth, and later move to a nightclub where Patrick attempts to pay with a drink voucher that is no longer accepted. The charming mask drops for a second, and he mutters pure hatred at the bartender, before instantly switching back into the smooth, charismatic persona that everyone sees. The next morning, we enter Patrick's apartment, where everything is clinically perfect as he begins a long, detailed beauty routine, describing every lotion, exercise, and facial treatment, while staring at himself in the mirror, admitting that the person everyone sees is just an idea. Not a real human being inside. There is nothing but emptiness at the office. He treats his secretary, Jean, like an accessory, instructing her what to wear before meeting his fiancée, Evelyn, in a cab where she talks about marriage, while he listens to music and silently despises the idea of commitment. Even though he does not even need the job, he keeps it because fitting in matters more than anything at dinner with their co-workers. The conversations are meaningless social performances. Patrick gives an emotional speech about world hunger and inequality while feeling absolutely nothing. And when Paul Allen shows up with a better business card, the entire universe collapses into a silent competition of paper, color, font, and watermark. Patrick's smile freezes his hands. Trembled jealousy begins to boil under the surface that night after wandering the streets. He runs into a homeless man, pretends to care for a moment, and then violently releases his frustration, proving the empathy he performs in public is completely fake. His narration continues, explaining that his only real emotions are greed and disgust. At a party, he learns Paul has taken an important account from him, and worse still, cannot even remember who he is, constantly mistaking him for someone else, which destroys the one thing Patrick values: his identity as someone superior. He invites Paul to his apartment, gets him drunk, plays loud music, gives a monologue about pop culture, while putting on a raincoat, and suddenly murders him with an axe in one of the most controlled yet unhinged moments in the story. Afterwards, he calmly drags the body through the hallway, like it is just another business task, breaks into Paul's luxury apartment, and becomes more upset about the better view than the killing itself. He creates a fake alibi, and the world continues as if nothing happened. A detective begins asking questions, and Patrick's anxiety grows, but his routine never changes. Workouts, tanning, business meetings, and empty conversations. He brings women to his apartment records. Everything treats human interaction like a performance. And when one of his co-workers shows off an even newer business card, the rage returns, pushing him toward another attempted murder that fails in the most awkward way, revealing how fragile his dominance really is. Jean becomes the only person who sees a glimpse of something real when he invites her over for dinner and almost kills her, but stops because, for a moment, he recognizes she actually cares about him, something he cannot understand. His life begins to spiral. The killings become more chaotic. He chases a woman through his building with a chainsaw, leaves bodies everywhere, runs through the streets, shooting at police cars in a sequence that feels more like a hallucination than reality. And finally hides in his office, calling his lawyer and confessing to everything, only to discover the next day that no one takes it seriously. His lawyer laughs, tells him he had dinner with Paul Allen in Paris, meaning the murder either never mattered or never happened. And in a world where everyone looks the same and no one listens, Patrick's greatest crime is not being a killer, but being completely invisible. The story ends with him sitting again among his identical friends, the confession meaningless, the mask still on as his final realization settles in. His pain is constant, his humanity is gone. And even after everything he has done, there has been no punishment, no recognition, no escape. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe to Narrate Now.